everybody, welcome back to my channel. And guess what we are talking about today? Guess? Are you guessing? Are you guessing? I guess you probably read the title. Today we're talking about the transition from first semester to second semester. So like I was saying before, first semester was like it started off, it went, then it started going back up, things started to get better, and my grades started to increase. And then, but what a lot of people don't tell you is, at the end of first semester, you will choose if you want to go into the accelerated track or do you want to go through the curriculum track. So first, what is the difference between accelerated and the curriculum track? The accelerated track is in 4 semesters and curriculum track is in 5 semesters. So in order for you to be in the accelerated track at that time, I started in August 2016 and it's August 2020, so things could have changed. Do not shoot the messenger. So at that time, it was based off of your personal preference as well as your grades. So say for instance, if you barely passed and you want to be accelerated, they would not allow you to be accelerated until after you make a substantial increase in your grades the second semester. So I got that 69 first semester on the first exam. So you can just guess what I chose. What did I choose? Curriculum track, because I was not trying to rush. I was like, look, I'm already broke. Just take the money that I already don't have and just take it. It's not even my money. It's the government's money that I'm going to have to pay back. So just go ahead and take another loan out for another semester so I can make sure I know what I'm talking about when a patient is standing in front of me. Not to say that if you go to accelerated track, you're not going to know anything less or know anything more than I'll be if you did in a curriculum track. For me, I know what kind of learner I am, and I know it takes me a minute to understand, and I need that curriculum track. So with 4X, aka accelerated track, they divide it. Like if you sign in on Panopto, you'll see 2-2X semester or 3-3X semester. So basically, when you sign in on there, you'll see curriculum and accelerated. And what you'll notice is that when you click on there, sometimes the curriculum students are not doing anything. The accelerated students are already in another block. So for example, in third semester, when I believe they were doing cardio 2, I had a 2-week break. And you know what I did during those 2 weeks? I studied ahead. I took that break and I studied ahead, and I got ahead in all the lectures. I made sure I knew it. So I was always a step ahead of the game. And I also used that time to review the previous semester's material. So I always just use the time wisely. Some people get into the curriculum track and they lose track of what the curriculum track is for. The curriculum track is to use that extra time that you have, that extra week when the other people in 3X versus you are in 3C are in class. You need to be studying. You need to study. Use the time wisely. That's what the time is for. Not to go down to the beach and go swim every day. No. Study, use it wisely. So that's one of the big things that is one of the transitions from first semester to second semester. And I chose the curriculum track. That was my personal preference. So let's get into it. What did I take second semester? And I took a little sneak at you guys's Panopto today, and I noticed that you guys are doing GI first, and I was in second semester. We did cardio physiology, then we did pulmonology physiology, and then after that we did a huge neuro block. And then after we did neuro, when I was in 2C, I did endocrine, and I believe the accelerated second semester did repro in endocrine. But one of those 2 weeks I was off studying for finals while they were still in class. So that's just the route that I took. So what did I do to study while I was in second semester? So like I said before, in first semester, I found a good group of tutors that could help me explain the information, make sure I understood the information. But another thing that I did that I learned from first semester is, yes, you may have a lot of people in your class, but guess what I'm doing? Email, what is your office hours? Can I come and go over this question? I still don't understand. I was doing that. I was at everybody's office, like all the time. I was always in somebody's office. So that's another key that I did in first semester. If they had office hours, or if they had any extra time or anything of that nature, I tried to catch them, be like, hey, I'm not understanding this. And I sent hours, like an hour or two in their office if they had any extra allotted time for, assigned for students to come in and ask questions. I used that as well as my tutors. In addition to that, so let's talk a little bit about what I took. So I took cardiophysiology, and we start off with a little bit of EKGs. So they tell you a little bit about EKGs and the physiology of the heart, the cardiac cycle. And so that was a little bit different for me. So, but it wasn't for me, the cardiology, physiology was not touching pulmonology. Like pulmonology, physiology was hard for me. So for cardiology, physiology, I was okay with the material that was presented to me by the professor. But pulmonology, physiology, I had to use BRS physiology, as well as go to their office and get extra tutor time from my tutors. What I tell you, I was on the struggle bus in pulmonology. That was hard. So if you want to be a pulmonologist, may God bless you. Because I was struggling. Okay? Struggling. So after cardiology and pulmonology, I believe was Mini 1. And Mini 1 is AKA you have a test, go to the testing center and take it. So that was Mini 1. And then after that, we had the neuro, I believe we had GI first. We had GI physiology first, and then we had neurology. And neurology block basically takes up the rest of your second semester. When I tell you, that was probably my favorite part of second semester and first year was the GI and neurology block, because GI to me was just a huge hole from mouth to you know where. And it just made sense. Like, it just made sense to me. I didn't really have to use that much because it just made sense to me. But the things that I did use a little bit of the BRS physiology for GI. And that was probably, that and neuro was my highest exam grades, because it just made sense. It was very, especially neuro, because neuro was extremely visual, which I'll get into. But GI was what it was. There was no tricks or anything of that nature. Like GI, it is what it was. To me, it just made more sense to me. Some people would say that for cardio, but cardio to me, it has a lot of things moving at the same time. But GI just keeps going, and that's it. So the next block was neuro, and I love that block. Do I want to be a neurologist? No. No. Much respect to whoever wants to be a neurologist and who is a neurologist, because that's very hard. It is very, very, very hard. But the way that Dr. Welke and her team taught it, take my money. Take my money. Take my money. Take all of it. You see, I don't have any money. But take the money that I wish I had to give you, because to this day, I still go to her lectures. I still have her lectures, because it does not leave you Some of the physiology stuff may leave you, not necessarily in cardio or actually none of that, but specifically like clinically, the neurophysiology, like when I was in third year and I was in the ED in trauma, and I had to do glaucoma scales, and they were asking me about strokes and which side will the deficit be on and what artery is over there. I'm telling you, medial meniscus pathway, dorsal column, everything she went over was in there. I'm telling you, it does not leave you to this day. I still look at her stuff. She's like, okay, what's that? What's glaucoma? Okay, yeah. It doesn't leave you. Keep her stuff. Keep all your stuff. But if you're gonna throw away something, don't throw that away, because that was very good to me. And she was very visual, and from a visual learner, I am very, very visual. She would bring brains to the class. Look at this. This is where the brain, this is where the anterior communicating artery is. This is where the middle
cerebral
is. She would point it out, bring brains, pass the brain around. She brought the axial coronal sections of the brain, so you could see what the substantia nigra looks like here, what the substantia nigra may look like here, but it's the same thing, but just a different point of view. She had coloring, like I still have all the colorings from hers, all the colorings and diagrams that she has, I still have. That was a very good block, especially if you are a visual learner. Like it just made sense to me. So yeah, so that was neuro. Repro, I believe, was my next, was repro physiology. And then after that, I believe I had a 2-week break. I believe I had a 2-week break before finals, and I think that was all for 2C, if I'm not mistaken. Again, I'm just a messenger, and that was a while ago, so don't kill the messenger. That's what I remember. So for repro, I used BRS physiology. I used a lot of BRS physiology. In second semester, I used a lot of BRS physiology in pulmonology and repro, because repro, it took me a minute to understand. Like it was like do 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 do, still not getting it. So I definitely use a lot of my tutors, as well as I was in her office. Like, I don't understand what's going on. What is all of this? I didn't understand any of it, but after speaking to her and speaking with my tutors, as well as the BRS physiology book and the BRS questions at the end and the pre-test questions at the end, everything turned out to be just fine, and it's going to be just fine for you. So in review, what are some of the things that I used in second semester and first year? I used the BRS physiology book to get me through each of the blocks. I also used my tutors, and I also started to bother my professors. And one more thing that I totally forgot to show you. Let me go get it. Okay, this baby, Sketchy. So this is the Sketchy path, and I don't think we did any pathology portions yet in second semester, so just ignore this portion, because Sketchy has Sketchy Micro and Sketchy Farm. So for me, the flashcards weren't working for me for Micro, and they were like going over the Micro, like for example, the Staph aureus. It was like yellow was mannitol. The beta was a beta hemolytic, and the triangles were the tricuspid valves. To this day, I have not seen that sketch since 2 or 3 years ago, and I still remember that sketch. That's how much of a visual learner I am. So if you need help with the micro portions or the farm that you're starting to learn, I highly recommend Sketchy. Highly recommend Sketchy, because they have, let me show you this book. So just pretend it doesn't say Sketchy Path, just pretend it says Sketchy Micro. And when you open the book, you'll have you'll have the picture of the sketch on one end. See the picture of the sketch in one end, and then you'll have a little area for you to write the little individual things on the sketch. So for number 2, which is right there, number 2, which is over here, I will go to number 2 and be like, oh, okay, this stands for calcifications on the mitral valve. So it just, for me, it helped me a lot for Sketchy Micro and Sketchy Farm. That's just, I don't have the Sketchy Micro or the Sketchy Farm. This is just Sketchy Path. But Sketchy has a lot of resources, especially for visual learners. They have Sketchy Micro, they have Sketchy Path, they have Sketchy Farm, they have Sketchy IM, Sketchy OBGYN, Sketchy Peds. They have a lot of step 1 material as well as step 2 material. And I think they just released Sketchy Biochem. So if you're starting with Biochem, I would definitely check it out. So I just want to show you one more thing that I did to help me get through second semester. Come with me. I'm just going to show you. Don't be trying to look at my password, girl. Don't be looking at my stuff. Okay, so I'm going to see if I can log in to see what things look like now. So you can get a view of what I see. So when I go on here, I go to week 1. Okay, so he's going over colonic motility and involves slow wave. So now I'm picking up my handy dandy step book, and I'm in the GI section, and I'm going to go on here. I see that you have stomach 3 waves, duodenum 12 waves, ileum 8 to 9 waves per minute, etc. So I have my step 1 book here, and then I have my iPad. Just pretend this is my iPad. I'm actually charging it right now, and this is my iPad right here. So I have my iPad here with the notes as well as my step book right here. So when I'm going on there, I'm going to go to www.usmlerx360, log in to this. I know I don't have any active subscriptions, but when you log in, you're going to see a place where you can look in on the videos. And when you click on those videos, it's going to bring up that same picture and explain everything that's in this part of it. So it'll help you study for step 1 and help you study for the exams that they tell you to do. So that is the way that I did it. Now, I think in the accelerated track, they may have been doing some pathology, but I'm not 100% sure. But if it is some pathology, let me give you this gem right here. Pathoma. Okay? Pathoma. It has everything you can think of. Like, it's a very, very, very good resource for pathology as well, and it's actually fairly cheap. You can get this book as well as the internet videos that go with this book for the pathology portion for about, I believe, $100, which is really good. So there's also another website if you don't really like this. There's also a thing called boardsandbeyond.com. And Boards and Beyond also does physiology as well as pathology. And if you don't like that, there's also Dr. Najib Physiology. Dr. Najib is very, very good. However, he does spend a long time on topics. And it did work for some people, but you know, it takes me more than one time to learn something and look at something. And if I'm spending 2 hours on one portion of the lecture and I still have to go back over his videos, it kind of makes it hard. But some people were able to Some people were actually able to get it in one sitting. He is an excellent teacher though, very excellent teacher. And his stuff is also very affordable. So just to wrap it up, second semester was pretty good for me. Like I said, first semester was a total fluke. It wasn't a total fluke, but it was a lot of struggling, and I got a lot better second semester. I was still going to my tutors. And then I started to go, like I said, I started to go to my professors and just be like, hey, I do not get this. Can you please provide some extra help, or can I go over these questions with you, please? Because I'm still not understanding. So I was going to tutors and I was going to my professors, and I continued to use the USMLE RX, the pre-test questions, the professor's questions, and of course, my handy dandy first aid book to go with my lecture. And I really, really hope that this video helped you, and it was kind of cool going down memory lane. And just know that you are not alone. You are okay. You're going to get through this, and you will be a physician. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and share with your friends and family. Bye.